For those of the people who haven't seen your book yet, Tehran Street Style, could you give us an overview of what people might expect to take away from it?
Tehran Street Style is, as you mentioned, the first ever collection of underground and illegal street fashion in Iran. The goal of mine was sort of twofold. First, to sort of sit and celebrate Iranian culture for what it is, because we often see a very narrow and homogenous view of Iran. And also, it just feels like inspiration always goes one way, right? So we're always like inspired by Europe, or like the West always inspires the East, where in fact there's so much in the East that should be really brought over here, and we can learn so much from it.
What kind of message do you think that people can sort of learn from seeing these beautiful, colorful prints and these people who are expressing themselves so vibrantly?
I think I want people in the West specifically to understand that I think modesty or Islam and Muslim doesn't mean one thing, and it's not black and white, and it really is like what you may think you know about Muslims or Iranians for that matter is really just like a tiny fracture or a snapshot of a really huge heterogeneous society that is bubbling with like colors and people and ideas and things and thoughts, but we constantly reduce people, especially in the Middle East and especially Muslims.
You're mentioning that this fashion and all these statements are very political, and inherently that fashion is a political platform. So how would you advise teens and other young people to utilize this platform for a good cause?
That's a really good question. And I think I'm going to give an answer and I'm going to contradict myself. So I think that fashion is really important because it is a medium where you can really you can go across borders, right? It's a language that I can speak in without having to actually speak the particular language where people can really understand. You may not feel that your choices are political by the way that you're choosing how to wear things, but that is deeply political because you're also influenced by society. You're influenced by what's available in your stores, which is also influenced by how society wants to see what a quote-unquote woman should look like versus a boy, and making these very strict categories that are very different. But also at the same time, even if you all buy ethical clothing and if you only shop at thrift stores, we're still gonna have a bunch of problems with fashion. And when we look at really where our clothes comes from, that's a whole other conversation about ethical fashion. And so thinking, yes, about how you're wearing, but also beyond that. So if we really want to challenge sweatshops, what are we going to do about that on a global scale?